Welcome to the wonderful world of Monster Hunter Rise. That's right, everyone. I've put about 10 or so hours into Monster Hunter Rise, and I just wanted to quickly go over my brief first impressions of the game before we get to my giant analytical review. Consider this a holdover video until we get to the more scripted, super in-depth, and hopefully funny content that is later to come, hopefully next week. So, without further ado, let's get straight into all the pros. And you know what? I don't really have many cons. I have like one major con, but it's not really with the game itself. It's more with the hardware it's on. And again, we're going to talk all about that in this video. So let's kick off with the pros. The biggest thing that I love about Monster Hunter Rise is absolutely its atmosphere. From the moment you start all the way to the end of a quest and whatever you're doing, it feels like you are immersed in this kind of feudal Japan fantasy world. It is incredible. I love all the little sounds with the crickets and the way the graph shifts around and the way you hear the trees flowing in the wind and stuff. You know, all of that is incredible. The game keeps hyping up the Rampage and talking about how it's one of the biggest events in their town's history, where all the monsters get together and try to break through the village barrier wall, and it's up to you to put a stop to them. And you work your way through that and work your way towards completing that objective to stop those monsters. And it's really fun to, you know, work through it and talk to all the townsfolk and get to know everyone. And it's just a really strong way of handling it. You really feel like you're a hunter that has been there throughout the time of this town, and that you're putting in the work to protect the people that you love. And the game does a great job of making me feel grounded in that reality the game has set for it. Another thing I enjoy is the core gameplay, which is what the biggest shock to me, because it's a lot more mobile than any Monster Hunter I think has ever been. Thanks to the new wire bug mechanic and the numerous amount of ways you can utilize it in combat, you have a lot of open options for mobility, for your attack strings, for your combo trees, and all of that. And the game does a great job of making sure you see that, you understand that, and you utilize that. The biggest thing that I love is the fact that the wire bug can let you ricochet yourself up giant caverns and canyons and things, and camp yourself on top of treetops and stuff and shoot down at monsters depending on if you're a ranged user and things like that, which opens the gate for more ranged users to finally work their ways in the game, as it was a very niche kind of only in your monster hunting discords really that you were using these types of weapons because of how of the lack of mobile options you had in previous Monster Hunters. But here I already see the potential with it, and it makes players want to kind of break out of their comfort zone and experiment with more weapons, because there's more get out of jail free cards when it comes to the mobility, and I think that is incredible. Another thing I like is how the wire bug can also work itself into your combo paths. Depending on what weapon you use it to extend a combo, to have a giant devastating attack, or for someone like me using the charge blade, you can use it to activate a parry mechanic, which can fully charge your blade up and get back in there for some devastating damage. It is insane the amount of options you have, and with only 2 wire bugs, or up to 3 if you grab one in the hub world while you're running to your next monster fight, being able to be utilized, you're gonna have to think on the fly and know, okay, when do I want to use the wire bug to zip out of here, when I want to use it to activate it in combat, when do I want to use it to make myself safe so I can heal up and all that. And there's always this sense of progression in middle of fights that make you go, okay, I'm feeling mobile here, I'm feeling active in the combat. There's not a lot of stop and wait like previous Monster Hunters. There is a ton of just you getting to place A, getting into this huge fight, and it just dragging out in the most epic fashion. And that's why I really like this one over the previous installments personally so far. Another thing I enjoy is the switch skills they've added, or the charge skills, or whatever they're called. These are skills that you can have to further enhance, again, your combo tree. So for example, with the charge blade I'm using, I can hold ZR and A at the same time, and once it expels its heat, I can hold the X button down on my heavy attack button, charge it up and turn it into a spinning axe blade, and then I can further deal damage with that onto enemies, and it has a lingering hit effect as it, you know, shoots electricity out and stuff. It's insane, man. The amount of trees and stuff you get to build with your upgrades, and eventually you could put a poison buff on that, or a thunder buff, or whatever it may be. It's gonna be nuts with the builds, and I'm really excited to explore that as we work our way towards the review. So I just really wanted to come here and say, Great job, Capcom. You've once again done it. MH Rise is a game I really just want to recommend and make sure you guys get out there, and also alert you guys that I am playing it currently on Twitch quite often. If you ever want to join in a couple hunts with me, I'm always looking for hunters. Please help your boy out, you know what I mean? And you guys are welcome to join. This game is absolutely phenomenal so far. I'm in love with it. Again, I just sat down yesterday and just played it 10 hours straight because I had so much fun figuring out the mechanics and getting into fights. The monsters are really strong so far. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I'm not gonna judge them quite yet because I'm more of an experienced guy. I haven't run into too many issues. I've only fainted once. It's not too hard at the moment. It's honestly a little bit of a cakewalk because of the mobility options, honestly, but I'm sure they're gonna have some counterplay to that as I work my way up the ranks. So that's one thing I'm concerned about. Is this game gonna be too easy, especially when you have a group of 4? Who knows? That's all something I'm waiting on, again, towards the full review. But as of right now, it's an awesome title. It runs really well, and it's just great. There is one con, however. It's the fact that this game is Switch exclusive. That is literally the biggest issue I have with the game, and it's because 30 FPS, especially with the amount of mobility options we have in this game, feels so out of character, especially with how much effort they put in with World, that it's like, why lock this game only to Switch until like 2022? I know they have a Nintendo deal probably, but it's frustrating because I would love to play this game on PC or on PS5 or whatever maybe in 60 FPS and you know, with some better textures and a lot less aggressive anti-aliasing and all that, and really soak in how awesome this can be. But I can't because it's on the Switch right now, and that's a little frustrating. I will say, however, it runs perfectly in both docked and handheld mode. I'm not experiencing any frame drops, even when there's a ton of crazy particle effects and stuff blowing up on the screen, and it is impressive to see an RE Engine game run this well on the Switch and still look this good. It's just frustrating that I can't get the frames that I want, and I know they're going to rectify that in 2022, but it is still something I want to criticize because Nintendo should have just put out more powerful hardware in all honesty. But aside from that, incredible title. Quick impressions out there that you guys should check this game out. Definitely give it a playthrough. I'll be seeing you guys very soon with the full review, hopefully later next week. Well, make sure you guys stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Peace.